everyone, welcome to the Witching Week. Today is episode 114. Today we're going to be looking at some wonderful witchy self-care products. We're going to be looking at a beautiful experience I had in the week and the symbolism that we can take from that. And we're going to be looking at divine timing amongst some other witchy topics. So grab a cup of tea, put some incense on, get comfy, and we'll explore the Witching Week. Hi witches, thank you for being here, thank you for watching. I'm Ren, I'm known as the Cemetery Witch, and every Friday we get together for a cup of tea and a bit of a chinwag. We look at the turn of the wheel, the change of the seasons, and what's been going on in the Witching Week. So first of all, I do tea and incense. I'm actually on the water today, not very exciting, but this is what I feel like I need. And I am burning the Mother's Fragrances incense, which is Orange Blossom. I have to say this one is not very smoky at all, so it's a good choice if you can't have lots of incense smoke for whatever reason. I can't say it smells of orange blossom, I have to be honest. And I have to say that I'm not sure it smells very much, to be honest. All I can smell is my perfume, which isn't particularly strong, but I do like the fact that this one is fair trade, and you get this leaflet inside it, and it says that they're deeply committed to the well-being and prosperity of the people who make the Mother's Fragrances incense. Our project employs around 125 people, mainly women, who have a good job. They enjoy decent working hours, good working conditions, and pleasant and spacious work environments. Their wages are above minimum wage and far higher than the industry's average. They benefit from a savings scheme, medical insurance, advances on wages if need be, and a bicycle scheme. So I think that is absolutely brilliant. I love that. I bought these in, what's it called? I think it's called Earth Fair, I think, the supermarket at the top of Glastonbury, which is very, very expensive. When you see the cost of their fruit and veg in there, it's absolutely extortionate. But some other items, so things like incense, aren't actually too bad. I can't remember how much this one costs, but yeah, not bad at all. And it is plastic free and vegan, so a really, really good choice. Maybe my nose is just not working very well, but yeah, I can't really smell it. But I am sat here with the incense a little way from me, so maybe if I was to get up and move around, I'd be able to smell it. But anyway, that was my choice for today. So what have you all been up to? Excuse me. I had an apple just before I started this video. What have you all been up to? How has your week been? Have you got any exciting plans coming up for the summer solstice? Well, at the end of this witching week, so next Friday, when I do the next one, we'll only have just over a week to go, which is absolutely crazy. My week has been brilliant. It's been busy, it's been fun, it's felt like a fantastic week, to be honest. And I want to say thank you so much for following and supporting this channel. We hit 3,000 subscribers in the week. I have since lost one. Things change from the time of planning to the time of filming and even the time of editing. When this goes up, we might well be back at 3,000, but as we're sort of nearly there, I just wanted to say thank you so much. I never thought I'd grow to this size, and every single like, comment, share, subscribe, minute watched is a huge support. It really, really does help the channel. It really helps an actual human being who sits here in front of the camera. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. I went to the Rutland Show last weekend. It has been going for 192 years, which is quite incredible. It makes me think that it's you know, some sort of ancestor work almost, because people in this area for 192 years have been gathering to just celebrate the county and celebrate the summer, basically. It's a chance to get together and have a little bit of fun. It is an agricultural show, but that does not mean you have to be involved in that side of things, and my husband and I aren't. but we enjoy other aspects of the show. So they have like a motorbike, like a stunt show thing that happens. They have this amazing steam hay baler that they show every year. So this is how we used to make bales of hay. Absolutely fantastic, really takes you back to a bygone era. They have, I mean, there are animals there. They have things on show. I love seeing Shire horses. I really, really adore those. But they also have like music, entertainment, crafts, lots of stalls for you to purchase things, and we meet up with friends. And actually this year we spent most of our time in the music tent, and we discovered some really great local acts. So yeah, we had an absolutely fantastic time. But the absolute highlight, and this might seem strange coming for a witch, but I think it shows how as pagans we're very, very objective and we're not bothered by other people's faiths. But the absolute highlight was the EAGA DMU Gospel Choir. They come from Leicester and they were finalists on Britain's Got Talent, and they were voted the Songs of Praise. I think it was the Gospel Choir of the Year 2023. I don't think it was Choir of the Year. I think they had a separate gospel competition. But anyway, absolutely beautiful, joyful, fantastic, uplifting. They didn't just play, all songs, I guess, have a religious element if you think about the words, but it wasn't just sort of choir songs. They played all sorts of things. There's that song, I Just Want to Praise You. They sang that because obviously the words, it makes sense. Their first track though was You'll Never Walk Alone. So for me personally, that was really emotional. My father is a Liverpool supporter. He absolutely adores that song. So of course I took a clip and sent that to him. So there were tears in the first song. They had a selection of songs in Zulu as well, which were absolutely beautiful. And the energy that they brought to the tent, they had the whole tent enjoying themselves. And they were dancing at the same time as singing, which is a really, really difficult thing to do. You have to be very fit. And they made it clear that anyone could get up and stand beside them or get on the stage. They could dance, they could just join in. And I think that is exactly what worship or spirituality should be like. I've shown a clip, but I can't put the sound on it due to copyright. But if you go onto the search part of YouTube and you put in their name, I could link to some videos, but then I don't know if that tells them that I've linked to them. But anyway, I'll put the information in there. Have a look on YouTube and see what they're all about, and they're just absolutely brilliant. If there was anything that was going to convert me to Christianity, it would be gospel music. It's not going to happen, don't panic, but we just had such a great time, and it was so lovely to share it with friends as well. I was thinking about the fact that as paganism, we don't have an equivalent in terms of music, something joyful and uplifting that we could enjoy. And I think it would have to be songs about nature, because one pagan can be so very different to the next pagan. And I was trying to think, what sort of music would we have? And the only thing that I could come up with is sort of like 1960s, 70s British folk. I guess that would be the genre that would fit us the best, I guess. What do you think? Do you think we could have some sort of gospel music that instead of singing the gospel, we were sort of singing our gospel, so about plants and magical forces and crystals? I don't know, maybe that wouldn't work. I'm thinking now about Fleetwood Mac songs, and I'm thinking about Stevie Nicks, and it's weird, isn't it? But I really, really think that, that's how worship should be. These people were having so much fun. From what I can tell, we only had a small selection of their choir. They have a much bigger choir, which you can see when you watch some of the videos, but they were just having so much fun. So yeah, and then they were good enough to let me have my photograph taken with them at the end. And I was chatting to one lady because they had us all dancing at the end, and then we all sort of like filtered out of the tent, and that was like the final moment. And the lady that was in front of me, she turned around and we had a conversation, and then she just gave me the warmest hug ever. So yeah, they really, really preach what they are giving out. You know, this happiness and joy that you see on stage was there, you know, when they finished performing. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. They are well worth supporting, and if you ever get the chance to go and see them, then please go and see them. So a lovely experience that we had in the week was being privy to something playing out in nature. So in the introduction, I spoke about a beautiful experience we had, and that was watching what I can only describe as a dogfight between a crow and a red kite, and this later became two crows and a red kite. I'm really thankful to say that no one seemed to be injured, no one seemed to be hurt, and I'm sure they were very, very tired once they had finished. But for about 10 to 15 minutes, we saw this aerial battle, this display playing out between these two crows and this red kite, and it felt like we were in a nature documentary. I was seriously waiting for David Attenborough to step out of the bushes, or Bilotti, and to start narrating. Apparently crows chasing red kites is a thing. They're both types of opportunistic feeder, and apparently crows harass red kites to steal their food and to stop them hunting successfully. Now, it did seem like the aggressor was actually the red kite. The red kite kept flying into what I can only imagine is the territory of the crows, and then the two crows would see the red kite off. They were dive bombing, they were making an awful lot of noise, and it was absolutely fascinating to watch. And we were there like, because we didn't want either type of bird to be hurt, but it was beautiful to see nature in action and to see the majestic display of these birds. I mean, the skill and the mastery they were both showing. Obviously the red kite is a lot bigger and a lot slower, even though they're very fast, than a crow actually, who can pull all sorts of amazing maneuvers. It was really quite something. So I was thinking about the symbolism of what we witnessed, and first of all, when we take crows, they apparently, or they are believed to carry messages from the ancestors and the spirit world. They are the intermediaries between the physical realm and the spiritual realm. They offer guidance. They are reminders from loved ones who have passed on. And I thought that was, so that went in the you know, in the sort of the thought bank. And then I started thinking about the red kite and what the red kites symbolise. And they're very much a potent symbol of liberation and freedom. You know, they have these huge wings and they fly around, and they, you know, it feels like they can go anywhere they want to go. They represent mastery because of their mastery in flight, and I would say the crows do too, having watched them. But there is this very regal feel about a red kite because of its size. They are associated with introspection and healing, and also dreams. So they also have this mystical quality about them, this dreamlike quality about them. And I thought that the red kite and the crow combination is such a powerful combo. And then it was only once I got home that this struck me. And I thought, was there anything else I saw that stood out that evening as we watched them? And there was one thing, and that was, once we'd moved on from seeing them, and we tried to film them, but it was really difficult because we were in a sort of a wooded location, and we needed to be just sort of on the other side of where we were. Maybe we would have got a better shot. But the first thing that we saw once we broke away our vision from watching these beautiful birds was actually the appearance of wild honeysuckle, which had grown over this area, and being a creeper or a vinid, it got itself tangled up obviously in other greenery and trees and stuff, and it had grown really high and had spread across quite a big area. And wild honeysuckle represents fidelity. It represents having a strong and constant bond. So I started to think, you know, when I was planning this video, it's when this came to mind, and I thought, hang on a minute, there's a message there with the crows and the red kite and the honeysuckle, and I felt like it's the ancestors bringing forth the message that there needs to be some introspection and healing for a bond to remain strong and true and constant. And that was very much a message for me. I'm going to talk about this a bit more over on Patreon because it's quite personal, but there was very much a message there. And I think it's really important when we end up watching these amazing things happen, or we see something that's really, really sort of unusual that we're not used to seeing, then we have to look a bit further sometimes, because sometimes there is a message there and we don't necessarily have to know anything about these particular messengers. We can do our research, but quite often there'll be a message there that makes sense to us. So yeah, that was such a fantastic experience. I would have felt very, very different had one of the animals been harmed. Of course, this is nature though, and as long as we're not interfering, that's fine. We have to let things play out. But I was relieved that everyone seemed to go home in one piece, albeit probably exhausted, because they were at it for, like I said, a good 10 to 15 minutes of constant attacking each other. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. So I saw this this image in the week. It's a screenshot of somebody's status, and it says, "The moon can't control you if you're dehydrated all the time." And it did make me laugh. I did have a chuckle at that. Obviously, we don't want to be dehydrated all the time. That is not the best thing. But this leads me on to a bit of witchy self-care that I want to show you. I was sent some products in the week by a company called Mother Nature UK. But yeah, I thought that was the perfect lead into this section of the Witching Week, but I planned on showing it to you because it made me chuckle, especially with the text spelling, the text speak. But anyway, yeah, witchy self-care. So Mother Nature UK, Covent Garden in London, they have sent me some beautiful body products which I have just started using this week. They've sent me a random mix. I didn't have anything in particular that I wanted to be sent. I said, you know, just send me whatever and I'll try them. They come in these beautiful boxes. The packaging doesn't say what's in them, which I really, really like, because that means you're not printing 500 boxes and then you are deciding that you're discontinuing a range, or the range isn't selling, or whatever. So they are very, very ethically minded. They think very much about the environment. This is on their website in their mission statements. So yeah, let me show you what I've got. So first up, I have got the Queen Bee Beauty Balm. Now all of the products come with a leaflet inside with some information on. I really like that. I think that's really helpful. And there is lots of helpful information on the labels. This is a bee derivative. This has got organic beeswax in, but apart from the bee related products, of which there aren't many, it's mostly vegan. They do advertise their products as vegan. So this one says safe, natural, organic, eco-friendly, vegan, biodegradable. So this one isn't strictly vegan, but everything else is. So it's absolutely beautiful. It's so soft. I can tell that these are going to have a great effect on my skin. You can just tell they're very, very good quality. So let me show you. This is the Queen Bee Beauty Balm. They've also sent me an anti-aging eye cream, which is called Eye Candy. Let me show you that one again. Leaflet, they stamp inside here, they stamp the date, they are freshly produced. And this again is just such lovely quality. It's really, really soft. I've started using this. I'll be interested to see what the results are after a couple of weeks or a month. I have got aging skin. I have hit perimenopause. I have seen some skin changes. I get this awful blotchiness on my cheeks sometimes, and I've realised it is actually hormonal. But I'm wondering if this is going to make a difference, whether it will just sort of calm it down a little bit. Sometimes it looks like, when I take my makeup off, it looks like I've got acne on my cheeks, and I don't. And it comes and goes, so it can be there one day and then not be there literally 12 hours later. It's really weird. And whilst I tend to wear a foundation every day, and I don't tend to go barefaced, I'm kind of annoyed that the option's been taken away. This is their Rosehip and Calendula Beauty Milk. Now, as you can see, it has separated, and that is because there are no artificial emulsifiers. So they could have put one in there and made this blend really, really well. You have to give it a good shake. Oh, I can't do that today with my shoulders. You have to give it a good shake, but they chose specifically to create it this way so that it's better for the body. They didn't do, you know, what would have been easiest for them, you know, to have the beauty milk looking like this the whole time. They've gone out of their way to make these products as human friendly and earth friendly as possible. So I absolutely love that. They do a range of products. They do anti-aging products. They are very much focused on skin issues as well. So if you have dermatitis or acne or eczema, they've got products to help with cradle cap. They've got men's products, and then they have like regular toiletries as well. So they have your deodorants and your hand creams and your after suns and your bath and body sort of items. As I've said, they're natural, handcrafted in the UK, and they have created these using ancestral wisdom and natural remedies that have been around for hundreds of years, which I really, really like. And they are a witchy business. So they have what they call their coven, which is like a loyalty scheme. You can get free shipping in the UK, you collect loyalty points, and you can get certain offers. So yeah, go and check them out. They have considered the environment with their packaging. They are cruelty free, and again, they are mostly vegan except for the bee derivative products. And they don't use fillers to bulk out their products, which is really, really nice. So yes, the price point is a little bit higher perhaps than you would pay, but if you want to really invest in your body and invest in your health and invest in beauty, then I don't think the price of them is any more or any less expensive than some of the other items that you can find on the shelves, say in, you know, the local pharmacy or in Boots. They don't contain lots of nasty, so they've kept out the parabens, the dioxane, the propylene glycol, the sulfates, the lanolin, the mineral oils, and the other toxic ingredients. This is all about being natural and tapping into that natural wisdom, witchy wisdom, easy for me to say. So they have very kindly given me a code to offer you guys. You can get 30% off of these products until the end of June on any size order, on multiple orders. Use the code WITCH30. I've popped it up on the screen. This does exclude gift sets and beauty bundles, which have already been heavily discounted, and you can't use that alongside the 20% off they offer for first orders. But if you put the code in, I believe it should override and you should get the 30% off. Again, witchy friendly business. The lady Kelly that I've been talking to as we've arranged this has been so fantastic, and also she asked me what I wanted to try, and I was like, I don't know, just send me something random, whatever you think. And really she's absolutely got it on the mark with the bits and bobs for the slightly older skin. So she's picked really, really well. They obviously are really good at what they do. So thank you so much, Mama Nature UK. If you do join their page on Instagram, let them know that you came via me. And if you purchase, then let them know. I think Witch30 is probably just the code associated with me, but I don't know for sure whether they've given that code out to anyone else. But yeah, let them know. So I saw another infographic in the week that I wanted to discuss, and it's all about divine timing, which is this idea that the universal truth that everything happens at the right moment. I've been pondering this concept. I've been trying to decide this week, do I believe in divine timing? Do I not? What do I think about it? I prefer this idea over everything happens for a reason. I absolutely cringe when people say that. I know it comes from a good place. Usually people say it at a time that's difficult, but what it does is it makes things more difficult. I remember when my husband lost his father and someone said to him, everything happens for a reason. They were trying to be comforting, but it just really upset him and made him angry, because you think, well, what is that reason? But I think divine timing's a bit different. It sort of gives the idea, or it puts forth the notion that the universe sort of has our back and that there's an inherent goodness behind life. So yeah, I think I do somewhat believe in divine timing. It's the universe knowing when to unveil the hidden opportunities. It's the universe knowing when to give us challenges that are going to help us grow and evolve. It's the universe knowing when to bring two souls together for whatever reason. It's the universe knowing when to guide us or to push us towards transformation. And it is the idea that your timing is the timing. So what I want to know is, have I missed anything out on that? I think we've got the concept down. I think really it's about trusting the timing of life, isn't it? It's about going with the flow. And to some degree, it's about letting go of control. So there is some element of surrender here. It's accepting that life has its own journey. And although we can influence that, because we could get a bit fatalist about this, couldn't we? We could go with the idea that everything is totally out of our hands, you know, if therefore the universe is sort of having a hand in things. But actually, you know, we can make decisions, but I think that is part of the divine timing. So if you can choose path A or path B, you would probably argue that you're in that situation though due to divine timing. What do you think? I think it really requires courage to believe in divine timing. It requires faith. And again, it requires a belief in this sort of inherent goodness, that there's this sort of goodness overall that is making things happen when they do. And I have to say that no matter what happens, you know, we do work through everything, and we do come out the other side, and we do come out the other side stronger, wiser, different. And so perhaps there's something in this. What do you think? Divine timing, I think, is definitely a topic, a subject, a lesson for me that has been apparent over the last few years. You know, why did this happen when it did? Why didn't that happen when it should? I wonder if you've got any examples of divine timing. So for me, the first one that sprang to mind was the fact that we were going to move a little while ago, and it all fell apart. But had we moved, I would not have been in the catchment area for the amazing cardiac hospital that I'm at. I don't think just anyone can go to it unless you have a very, very unusual sort of specific problem that needs very, very expert care. I mean, I am having issues, they are complex, but they're probably not compared to some of the heart issues you can have. So I probably wouldn't have had a referral to this hospital had we moved. And so for me, that's a little bit of divine timing. For me, it feels like someone is looking out for me, and you could say, well, that someone therefore is the universe. So I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are on divine timing. I would love to hear. And before we do some cards for the week ahead, I would really like to read something to you actually about the summer solstice. Let me find it. Here we go. The summer solstice is the peak of our expressive and expansive selves. Celebrate what you have achieved and manifested. It's a festival of attainment and the fulfillment of the individual. It's a time for the enjoyment of what you have and who you are. Use this special day to focus and charge with healing and positive intent all you wish to be. Add the strength and power of the sun to enhance and activate. Abandon yourself to expressive dance, song and joy, and a sense of your own uniqueness. And isn't that lovely? I did have a thought actually about the summer solstice, and a wish really. So we get to the longest day, and then we have a period of standstill for a few days before the days start to get shorter. So this is where the word solstice comes from. We've spoken about this a lot on the Witching Week. It means sun stands still, and whether you're celebrating obviously the summer solstice or the winter solstice in the opposite hemisphere, there is a period of standstill where the days get to a certain length and they stay there for a few days before the changes are made, before the days get longer or before the days get shorter. Now, I was thinking about the idea of us remaining at that point, not for a few days, but for an entire month. Now, that would be really, really difficult, I think, for us in the Northern Hemisphere for the winter, not digging that idea at all. But during the summer, I think we're all at our most productive, our most creative, and our most joyful during these longer days. That is due to the fact that there's more going on during the summer. You know, there's lots of fetes and fairs and things to see and do, and we're feeling that joyful celebratory energy. It's also to do with the fact that we've had a good hit of vitamin D, and I really think that we just are better at this time of year. Like, I'm more creative, I come up with better ideas, I'm in a better mood. And I imagine what we could achieve as humans if, when we got to the longest day of the year, those daylight hours, which I can't remember what they are this year, they must be up at like 18, 19 hours of light a day. But imagine if we had that for an entire month. And I'm sure in other parts of the world, you do have that for a longer period of time. I'm thinking very much from my position here in the UK, but I imagine what I personally could achieve if I had the longest day and that remained for an entire month. I would get so much done, I would be so creative, and I just think about the impact that we could have as humans on our world if we had this opportunity to remain at peak light and warmth just for 1 month solid. I just think that is such a lovely idea. Obviously, it's never going to happen. That's not how it works with our Earth and our Sun. But I just thought that was such a lovely thought. And yeah, so enjoy yourselves. We've got just over 2 weeks, haven't we, to the solstice. This video runs from today until next Friday, when the next one will be up. And at next Friday, so the end of this Witching Week, we will only have just over a week to go. So not long at all. I mean, we've got a couple of months left of warm, sunny weather with longer days. But yeah, we've hit the peak. Right, let's do some cards for the week ahead. Let me know in the comments what you've been up to, how your week has been. Oh, the cards are flying out already. We'll take that one. It always makes me smile how the cards often reflect the energy of the Wheel of the Year. So I do an edit just because usually it's boring to see me shuffle, but that's the only reason why I do the edit. I don't pick out the cards. The cards come out naturally. But have you noticed that? Have you noticed that the message of the cards often reflects the time of year? And for me, that has been one of the most fascinating things about running the Witching Week that I've noticed. Yeah, just so interesting. And just like that, that very point I was just making is seen in these cards. So we have the Chariot, we have the 8 of Wands, and we have the 6 of Pentacles. Don't think we've had that card or for a while anyway. So these cards very much speak of exactly what I was just talking about with divine timing. So about destiny, about traveling to where it is you're supposed to go, about being on life's path, being pulled along by the chariot. And this card here is very much about divine timing. It's about going with the flow. So the message for the week is to go with the flow. Let the energy of the week carry you. Don't put up a resistance. Just travel to wherever it is life is going to take you. when we are traveling the path of life, it can feel bumpy, it can feel rocky, it can feel like we're out of control sometimes, but we're not. We're always in control. We're always in control of the chariot that we're traveling. We are always in control of which roads we want to travel down, which is exactly what I was just saying earlier. We have to go through some lumps and bumps in the road sometimes. This is what life is all about. This is how we develop. This is how we grow. And actually, our challenges and our struggles actually are an opportunity for abundance. They teach us things. They teach us the life lessons that we need to go through to become more well-rounded individuals and to make better opportunities out of the struggles that lie ahead. So it's a constant journey of learning, getting things wrong, getting things right, and just generally developing into the person that we need to be. And to do that this week, we need to not be obstructive, not be unrealistic, not get in the way of where things seem to be flowing. We need to let the things flow. We need to be carried along with the tide, as it were. We need to be focused as well. We need to know where it is we're going, where it is we want to go, but we need to not put up any resistance, basically. If it feels like we're struggling a bit or we're making things more difficult than they need to be, then we need to stop. We need to take a step back and just go with the flow. And that will lead to success. That will lead us to a position where we have abundance, and we have so much abundance we can share that out with other people. That is where we're heading. We're heading towards success. That's what we're all working towards in all areas of our life, really. So yeah, go with the flow. That is the message for this week. And not to stress, not to worry about life and where it's taking us. You know, the universe has an idea and helps us. So yeah, think about the message of divine timing that we've just spoken about, and think about that message with the tarot. I do just want to finish off with a card from the Whispering Woods deck this week. I've shared this a few times. Absolutely beautiful deck. It's either really helpful and on the money when you pull a card from this deck, or it is a bit obscure and you have to think outside the box a little bit, but quite often the message makes sense later on. So let's have a look. Let's just pick a random card from this deck. The Knight. Find comfort in the night where the world switches off and the stars burn bright. Don't think I've ever pulled that one from this deck before. The Knight. Find comfort in the night where the world switches off and the stars burn bright. That's a lovely message for the end of the week. So on that note, I hope you have an absolutely fabulous week. Thank you for watching. If you've got this far and you haven't subscribed, please do. It seems that most of you aren't actually subscribed who watch this video, and it really does help the channel if you subscribe. It helps to push me out. Give me a thumbs up as well. And yeah, I'm just wishing you an absolutely beautiful witching week ahead, and I'll see you next Friday with another episode. I'm sending you all my love and blessings. Lots of love. Bye.